When you hit an obstacle, your first instinct is likely to ask, how do I solve this? You try to figure it out on your own, wandering through a maze of slow, frustrating trial and error. That isolated approach is incredibly expensive. Figuring things out on your own costs you years of your life and thousands of dollars in easily avoidable mistakes. Look at this path comparison. The most successful people bypass the erratic path of how entirely. Instead, they ask, who has already solved this? When you build a relationship with someone holding the blueprint, you inherit their solutions, extracting the value from past mistakes. This exact strategy is how someone with a rough past gets invited to speak on stage by Tony Robbins, or gets an investor like Mark Cuban to back their company. Everyone repeats the phrase, your network is your net worth. A casual handshake doesn't create wealth. The right relationship collapses time, acting as the ultimate efficiency tool for your career. If one conversation can change your life, you need to understand why that conversation hasn't happened yet. You might be triggering invisible showstoppers, silent behavioral mistakes that kill your chances before the relationship even begins. The very first filter is absolute reliability. Top-tier individuals need to surround themselves with people who follow through 100% of the time. If you say you'll show up to a meeting or a morning hike and you flake, the door closes permanently. Then there is the instant ask. Trying to extract a favor, an investment, or an introduction before you've provided any real value guarantees an immediate rejection. You have to give first. That giving cannot be a simple trade. If you do a favor while keeping score, hoping to cash in a chip later, they will sense the transaction and keep their distance. Master networkers like Gary Vaynerchuk look at these interactions as long-term investments. Nobody pulls you aside to tell you that you blew it. You just start to feel universally ignored by successful mentors. In reality, you are quietly failing these behavioral filters. Even with flawless behavior, you have to drop the head trash. People constantly disqualify themselves from stepping into high-value rooms because of internal mindset blockers. You might assume people at the top are completely unapproachable, but as Joe Rogan once pointed out, celebrities and icons are just normal humans. They still go to the bathroom, they just made different decisions over a longer period of time. You might also assume you have absolutely nothing to offer a millionaire, but one of the rarest, most valuable assets you can provide is being a genuine cheerleader. Buying their book first, sharing their posts, and celebrating their wins takes zero capital, yet it builds massive goodwill. You are not unworthy of their time. You are simply on your chapter 2, while they are on their chapter 27. The self-imposed hierarchy is an illusion. Once you clear out the internal friction, you have to engineer physical proximity. If you work in software, placing yourself in a geographic hub like San Francisco guarantees high-level collisions happen naturally, simply by existing in the right environment. But you shouldn't aggressively chase targets. Instead, use the platform play. Organize a structured environment, like a niche dinner party for local entrepreneurs or a weekly morning hike that organically attracts the people you want to meet. By creating this space, you become the primary connector. Putting 3 smart people in a room makes them talk to each other, and they leave viewing you as a master networker. Your social value elevates instantly. For digital outreach, do the homework to find uncommon commonalities. Then, send a short message asking for highly targeted advice, something they couldn't just find on Google. Include your cell number so replying takes zero friction. By combining physical proximity, a welcoming platform, and frictionless outreach, meeting the right people ceases to be random luck. It becomes an engineered, repeatable system. The end goal is not to accumulate a massive list of casual contacts. A mature network brings you to a state of operational invincibility. This map of connections shows what that looks like in practice. For every conceivable professional, financial, or operational bottleneck you might face, you have a highly specific person to call. A person for finance, hiring, and media. This web of expertise effectively insulates you from systemic failure. When a threat arises, you don't panic. The exact solution is one text message away. The engine that powers this entire structure is asymmetric goodwill. You build it by continuously putting energy, support, and value out into the world without ever keeping score. So, identify one specific problem you are currently facing, write it down. Then find the name of a person who has already solved that exact problem, and start preparing your first value-driven connection.